Welcome back to SpeakWise Podcast. Have you ever answered an English question with only one or two words, and then watched the conversation suddenly become quiet? Someone asks, "How was your weekend?" You say, "Good." They ask, "What do you like to do in your free time?" You say, "Reading." They ask, "Do you enjoy your job?" You say, "Yes." Your answers are correct, but the conversation has nowhere to go. Today, you are going to learn how to turn short answers into natural, interesting, and confident English. By the end of this lesson, you will know how to speak longer without forcing yourself, without memorizing complicated sentences, and without feeling nervous. If you enjoy practical English lessons like this, subscribe to SpeakWise Podcast and practice with us every week. Emma is standing outside the English Conversation Club. She looks through the glass door. Inside, several students are already talking. Some are laughing. Others are sharing stories. Emma takes a slow breath. She has improved a lot recently. She no longer panics when she forgets a word. She knows how to describe ideas. She knows how to keep speaking. But there is still one problem. Her answers are too short. She opens the door and walks inside. Sarah smiles when she sees her. Emma, how was your day? Emma smiles. Good. Then she stops. Sarah waits. Emma realizes what has happened. She laughs nervously. That was too short, wasn't it? Sarah smiles. It was correct, but it didn't give me much to respond to. Emma nods. I do that all the time. I know what I want to say, but I don't know how to continue. Sarah gestures toward the chairs. That's exactly what we're practicing today. Emma sits down beside Alex and Sophia. Sarah walks to the front of the room. Everyone, tonight's challenge is simple. No one is allowed to answer with only one short sentence. David raises his hand. How long does every answer need to be? Sarah smiles. At least 3 parts. First, give your answer. Second, explain your reason. Third, add an example or extra detail. Emma repeats quietly. Answer. Reason. Example. Sarah nods. Exactly. This is called the 3-step answer method. It helps you speak longer without trying to invent a speech. You only add one reason and one detail. Repeat after me. Answer. Reason. Example. Repeat. I give a complete answer. Repeat. I add one reason. Repeat. I share one detail. Repeat. Excellent. Sarah turns toward Emma. Let's try it. Emma, do you like mornings? Emma answers immediately. Yes. Then she stops and laughs. Sarah smiles. Now add a reason. Emma thinks for a moment. Yes, I do, because mornings are quiet. Sarah nods. Now add an example. Emma continues. Yes, I do, because mornings are quiet. I usually drink coffee by the window before work, and that helps me feel calm. Sarah smiles. Perfect. Emma looks surprised. That was much easier than I expected. Sarah nods. You did not need advanced vocabulary. You only developed your answer. Repeat after me. Yes, I do, because. Repeat. For example, repeat. One reason is, repeat. Excellent. Sarah turns to Alex. Do you enjoy cooking? Alex smiles. Yes, I do. Because it helps me relax. For example, I usually cook pasta or soup after a stressful day. Sarah nods. Good. Now compare that with a short answer. Do you enjoy cooking? Yes. Which answer feels more natural? Sophia smiles. The longer one. It gives the listener something to ask about. Sarah nods. Exactly. A good answer opens a door. A short answer often closes it. Repeat after me. My answers open conversations. Repeat. I give people something to respond to. Repeat. I make conversations easier. Repeat. Excellent. Emma writes the method in her notebook. Answer. Reason. Example. Sarah looks at her. Now, let's try a question people ask all the time. What do you do in your free time? Emma starts with her usual answer. I read. She pauses. Then she remembers the method. I enjoy reading because it helps me escape from stress. For example, I recently started a mystery novel, and I usually read a few pages before bed. Sophia smiles. What is the book about? Emma looks at Sarah. It worked. Sarah laughs. Exactly. Your extra detail created the next question naturally. Emma turns back to Sophia. It's about a detective trying to solve a disappearance in a small town. Sophia leans forward. That sounds interesting. Do you usually read mystery novels? Emma smiles. Sometimes. I also enjoy books about psychology, because I like understanding why people behave the way they do. The conversation continues. Sarah waits for a moment before speaking. Did you notice what happened? Emma gave one complete answer. That answer created another question. Then another. That's how natural conversations grow. Repeat after me. One detail creates another question. Repeat. Another question creates a conversation. Repeat. I know how to keep talking. Repeat. Excellent. Sarah walks toward the whiteboard. She writes 3 examples. Do you like your job? Yes, I do, because I enjoy solving problems. For example, last week, I helped a customer find a solution that saved them a lot of time. Where are you from? I'm from a small city near the coast. It's peaceful, and many people visit during the summer because the beaches are beautiful. What did you do this weekend? I spent most of Saturday with my family. We cooked dinner together and watched an old comedy that we all love. Sarah turns around. Notice something important. Not every answer needs to use the exact same words. You do not always need to say because or for example. The structure matters more than the phrase. Give your answer. Add meaning. Add detail. Emma nods. So, the goal isn't to sound like a formula. Sarah smiles. Exactly. The formula is only training wheels. It helps you build the habit. Later, your answers will feel natural. Repeat after me. I add meaning to my answers. Repeat. I add useful details. Repeat. I speak naturally, not mechanically. Repeat. Excellent. David raises his hand. What if I don't have an interesting example? Sarah smiles. Your example does not need to be dramatic. Small details are enough. Imagine someone asks, do you like coffee? You could say, yes, I do. I usually drink 1 cup in the morning, especially when I have a busy day. That is simple, but it is complete. Ryan nods. So, everyday details are useful. Sarah smiles. Very useful. Native speakers often connect through ordinary details. What they ate, where they went, how they felt, what happened at work. You do not need an amazing story every time. Repeat after me. Small details are enough. Repeat. My everyday life gives me ideas. Repeat. I always have something to say. Repeat. Excellent. Sarah turns back to Emma. Let's make the questions faster. Answer each one with 3 parts. Emma sits up straight. I'm ready. Sarah asks, do you enjoy exercising? Emma answers, yes, I do, because it gives me more energy. I usually go for a walk in the evening, especially after sitting at my desk all day. Sarah asks, what kind of weather do you like? Emma says, I like cool. Would you like sunny weather? Because it feels comfortable. It's perfect for walking outside or meeting friends at a cafe. Sarah asks, do you like learning English? Emma smiles. Yes, I do, because it helps me connect with more people. For example, I can watch videos, read articles, and have conversations that I couldn't enjoy before. Sarah nods proudly. Very good. Your answers are becoming richer. Repeat after me. My answers have more meaning. Repeat. I speak in complete thoughts. Repeat. I become more interesting to talk to. Repeat. Excellent. Emma looks thoughtful. I think I understand my mistake now. I was waiting for the other person to do all the work. Sarah nods. That's an important realization. A conversation is shared responsibility. The listener asks a question. You help the conversation by giving them something useful in return. Emma smiles. So, instead of thinking, how quickly can I answer? I should think, what can I add? Sarah smiles. Exactly. Repeat after me. What can I add? Repeat. What detail can I share? Repeat. How can I keep this conversation alive? Repeat. Excellent. Sarah looks around the room. Now it's time for today's native tip. When native speakers answer questions, they often add a small piece of personal information. They may mention a reason, a memory, a preference, or a recent experience. This makes their speech sound warm and natural. It also shows interest in the conversation. The next time someone asks you a question, don't only give information. Give them a small piece of your world. Repeat after me. I share a small piece of my world. Repeat. My answers sound warm and natural. Repeat. I make real connections. Repeat. Wonderful. Now it's time for today's listening challenge. Listen carefully. Sarah says, a complete answer gives the listener enough information to understand you and enough detail to continue the conversation. What does she mean? A. You should always give very long speeches. B. You should answer clearly, add a reason, and include a useful detail so the conversation can continue naturally. C. You should only use advanced vocabulary. The correct answer is B. Excellent work. Emma closes her notebook for a moment. At the beginning of the lesson, she thought longer answers required more vocabulary. Now she sees the truth. Speaking longer is not about using difficult English. It is about developing one simple idea, an answer, a reason, a detail. And for the first time, Emma begins to feel that every question is not a test. It is an invitation to share more, an invitation to connect, and an invitation to turn one small answer into a real conversation. Sarah smiles. Emma is beginning to understand something important. Long conversations are not created by complicated English. They are created by curiosity. Sarah walks to the center of the room. Everyone, you've learned how to answer with 3 parts. Now, we're going to learn how to keep the conversation going after your answer. Emma looks curious. How? Sarah smiles. By using one simple habit. Always add one more thought. Repeat after me. I always add one more thought. Repeat. I never stop too early. Repeat. I keep the conversation alive. Repeat. Excellent. Sarah writes a sentence on the whiteboard. I like coffee. She turns toward the class. Is this sentence correct? Everyone nods. Yes. Sarah smiles. But is it interesting? The room becomes quiet. David laughs. Not really. Sarah nods. Now watch this. I like coffee because it helps me wake up in the morning. I usually make a fresh cup before I start working. It's become one of my favorite daily habits. Sarah smiles. What changed? Emma raises her hand. You made it personal. Sarah nods. Exactly. People enjoy hearing about people, not just facts. Repeat after me. I make my answers personal. Repeat. I share my experiences. Repeat. People enjoy listening to stories. Repeat. Excellent. Sarah smiles. Emma, let's practice. What's your favorite season? Emma thinks for a moment. Autumn. She stops. Sarah smiles. Add one more thought. Emma continues. Autumn is my favorite season because the weather is cool and comfortable. I also love watching the leaves change color. Sarah nods. Very good. Now, one more thought. Emma smiles. Last year, I visited a small mountain town during autumn, and it became one of my favorite trips. Sophia smiles. That sounds beautiful. Where was it? Emma laughs. Now she understands. The extra detail created another question. Sarah nods proudly. Exactly. Repeat after me. One extra detail creates another conversation. Repeat. I always have something more to say. Repeat. I enjoy sharing my experiences. Repeat. Excellent. Sarah smiles. Let's practice another common question. What's your favorite food? Alex answers. Pizza. Sarah smiles. Now make it natural. Alex thinks. Pizza is my favorite food. Because there are so many different kinds. I especially enjoy homemade pizza with fresh vegetables and cheese. Sometimes my family makes it together on weekends. Sarah smiles. Excellent. Notice something. The answer became a tiny story. Emma writes in her notebook. Tiny stories. Sarah notices. That's a wonderful phrase. Native speakers often answer with tiny stories. Not long speeches. Just one small memory. One recent experience. One interesting detail. Repeat after me. I tell tiny stories. Repeat. Stories make conversations interesting. Repeat. My English becomes more natural. Repeat. Excellent. Sarah smiles. Now let's practice feelings. Many learners only explain facts, but native speakers often explain how they feel. Emma looks interested. Can you show us? Sarah nods. Of course. Question. Do you like traveling? Short answer. Yes. Better answer. Yes. I do because I love discovering new places. Traveling makes me feel excited and curious. I always come home with wonderful memories. Emma smiles. The feelings make it sound real. Sarah nods. Exactly. Facts tell. Feelings connect. Repeat after me. I share my feelings. Repeat. Feelings make conversations stronger. Repeat. I connect with people. Repeat. Excellent. Ryan raises his hand. Can we practice together? Sarah smiles. Absolutely. Ryan turns to Emma. What's your favorite place in your city? Emma answers confidently. My favorite place is the Riverside Park because it's peaceful. I often go there after work to relax. Watching the sunset over the water always makes me feel calm. Ryan smiles. Do you usually go alone? Emma thinks. Sometimes I go alone because I enjoy the quiet. Other times I meet friends there for coffee or a walk. Ryan smiles. That sounds wonderful. Sarah claps softly. Excellent. Emma didn't just answer. She invited Ryan into the conversation. Repeat after me. I invite people into my conversations. Repeat. I share meaningful details. Repeat. Every answer creates another question. Repeat. Excellent. Sarah walks toward the board again. This time, she writes 3 words. Reason. Feeling. Memory. She turns toward everyone. Whenever someone asks you a question, try adding one of these. A reason. A feeling. Or a memory. Emma smiles. That sounds easy to remember. Sarah nods. Exactly. Let's practice. Question. What's your favorite movie? Emma smiles. My favorite movie is The Pursuit of Happiness because it's inspiring. It reminds me that hard work and hope can change your life. I remember watching it with my father when I was younger, and I've loved it ever since. The room becomes quiet. Sophia smiles warmly. That's a beautiful answer. Sarah nods. Notice how Emma used all 3. Reason. Feeling. Memory. Repeat after me. Reason. Feeling. Memory. Repeat. These make my English more natural. Repeat. I enjoy sharing my experiences. Repeat. Excellent. David smiles. Can we try something more difficult? Sarah laughs. Of course. Emma. Describe your dream vacation. Emma smiles. I've always wanted to visit New Zealand because I've seen so many beautiful pictures. I love nature, mountains, and quiet places. I think hiking there would be an unforgettable experience. I'd also enjoy meeting local people and learning about their culture. David smiles. Now I want to visit too. Everyone laughs. Sarah smiles. That's the goal. Interesting answers create interest. Repeat after me. Interesting answers create interesting conversations. Repeat. I enjoy speaking English. Repeat. I become more confident every day. Repeat. Excellent. Sarah smiles. Now it's time for today's native tip. Native speakers rarely stop after answering a question. They naturally add one extra sentence. Sometimes it's a feeling. Sometimes it's a memory. Sometimes it's a funny little story. That extra sentence makes conversations feel warm, relaxed, and natural. You can build the same habit every time you speak English. Repeat after me. I always add one more sentence. Repeat. One sentence changes everything. Repeat. I sound more like a native speaker every day. Repeat. Wonderful. Now it's time for today's listening challenge. Listen carefully. Sarah says, interesting conversations happen when people share reasons, feelings, and personal experiences instead of giving only short facts. What does she mean? A. You should answer every question with only one word. B. Adding personal details helps people understand you better and gives them something to respond to. C. Only advanced English learners can tell stories. The correct answer is B. Excellent work. Emma smiles as she closes her notebook. Only an hour ago, she believed longer conversations required perfect English. Now, she realizes they only require one simple habit. After every answer, add one more thought, one more feeling, one more memory, one more story. And little by little, those small additions turn short answers into confident conversations. Tomorrow, when someone asks Emma a simple question, she already knows she won't stop after the first sentence. Because now, she finally knows how to keep the conversation flowing naturally. Welcome back to SpeakWise Podcast. Today, you're learning one of the biggest secrets behind natural English conversations. So far, Emma has learned how to give longer answers. She has learned to add a reason. She has learned to add a personal detail. Now, Sarah has one more challenge. It's called the Conversation Builder. Sarah smiles as everyone settles into their seats. You've learned how to answer questions. But today, you're going to learn how to become someone people enjoy talking to. Emma looks curious. What's the difference? Sarah smiles. Answering questions is only half of a conversation. Keeping the conversation alive is the other half. Repeat after me. I help conversations grow. Repeat. I enjoy asking and answering questions. Repeat. Every conversation is teamwork. Repeat. Excellent. Sarah walks toward the whiteboard. She writes 4 simple words. Answer. Reason. Detail. Question. Emma reads them aloud. Answer. Reason. Detail. Question. Sarah nods. This is the 4-step conversation method. First, answer the question. Second, explain why. Third, add one detail. Finally, ask a question back. Emma smiles. So, the conversation keeps moving. Exactly. Native speakers do this naturally. They don't wait for the other person to do all the work. Repeat after me. I answer. Repeat. I explain. Repeat. I ask another question. Repeat. Excellent. Sarah turns toward Alex. Let's see the difference. Question. Do you enjoy traveling? Alex answers. Yes, I do. Sarah smiles. Conversation finished. Now try again. Alex thinks. Yes, I do. Because I enjoy seeing new places. Last year, I visited a beautiful beach with my family. It was one of my favorite vacations. How about you? Do you enjoy traveling too? Sarah smiles. Perfect. Notice what happened. The conversation didn't stop. It continued naturally. Repeat after me. I keep conversations moving. Repeat. I invite people to speak. Repeat. Conversations become easier every day. Repeat. Excellent. Sarah smiles. Emma, your turn. What's your favorite hobby? Emma answers. I enjoy reading because it helps me relax after work. I usually read for about 30 minutes before going to bed. What about you? Do you enjoy reading too? Sophia smiles. Sometimes. But I actually enjoy listening to audiobooks while driving. Emma becomes interested. Really? What kind of books do you usually listen to? Sophia smiles. Mostly psychology and history. Emma laughs. I love psychology books too. Sarah claps softly. Excellent. Did everyone notice? Emma didn't just answer. She became curious. Curiosity creates conversations. Repeat after me. I stay curious. Repeat. I ask simple questions. Repeat. Curiosity builds friendships. Repeat. Excellent. Sarah smiles. Now let's practice follow-up questions. Many learners don't know what to ask next, but you only need a few simple patterns. She writes several questions on the board. What about you? Why do you think that? How did that happen? When was that? What's your favorite part? Can you tell me more? Emma smiles. Those questions seem easy. Sarah nods. That's because they are. Simple questions create long conversations. Repeat after me. Can you tell me more? Repeat. What about you? Repeat. Why do you like it? Repeat. Excellent. Ryan joins Emma for another practice conversation. Ryan smiles. Do you enjoy cooking? Emma answers. Yes, I do. Because I enjoy trying new recipes. Last weekend I made homemade pasta for the first time. It wasn't perfect, but it was fun. What about you? Ryan laughs. Actually, I'm terrible at cooking. Emma smiles. Really? What's the hardest thing you've ever tried to cook? Ryan laughs again. A rice. Everyone laughs. Emma laughs too. Sarah smiles. See? Nobody planned this conversation. It happened naturally because Emma asked one simple question. Repeat after me. One question creates another conversation. Repeat. I enjoy learning about people. Repeat. Every conversation teaches me something. Repeat. Excellent. Sarah walks slowly around the room. Now let's practice agreeing naturally. Native speakers don't always answer with only yes. They often show interest first. Listen. I love hiking. Really? That's interesting. Where do you usually go? Emma nods. That sounds much more natural. Sarah smiles. Exactly. Agreement plus curiosity keeps conversations alive. Repeat after me. Really? Repeat. That's interesting. Repeat. Tell me more. Repeat. Excellent. Sarah turns toward David. David, tell Emma something about yourself. David smiles. I recently started learning to play the guitar. Emma answers. That's amazing. Why did you decide to learn now? David smiles. I've always loved music. I finally had enough free time to start practicing. Emma nods. What kind of music do you enjoy playing? David smiles. Mostly acoustic songs. They're relaxing. Sarah smiles. Wonderful. Emma used encouragement. Then curiosity. That's exactly how conversations grow. Repeat after me. I encourage people. Repeat. I ask thoughtful questions. Repeat. People enjoy talking with me. Repeat. Excellent. Sarah writes another sentence on the board. People remember how conversations feel, not just what people say. Emma looks thoughtful. What does that mean? Sarah smiles. Imagine two conversations. In the first one, someone answers every question with one word. In the second, someone smiles, shares a little story, asks about your opinion, shows interest. Which conversation would you remember? Emma smiles. The second one. Definitely. Sarah nods. Exactly. Great conversations are emotional. People remember kindness, interest, curiosity, and laughter. Repeat after me. I create enjoyable conversations. Repeat. I make people feel comfortable. Repeat. Speaking English is about connection. Repeat. Excellent. Sarah smiles. Let's try one final activity. everyone will pair up. Your goal isn't to practice grammar. Your goal is to become interested in the other person. Emma pairs with Sophia again. Sophia asks, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would you choose? Emma smiles. I'd probably choose Switzerland because I love mountains and peaceful places. I've seen so many beautiful photos of the lakes there. What about you? Sophia smiles. I'd choose Italy. Emma asks, really? What makes Italy special for you? Sophia laughs. The food. Everyone laughs together. Sarah smiles proudly. That's how friendships begin. Not with perfect English. With genuine curiosity. Repeat after me. I enjoy learning about people. Repeat. Curiosity makes me a better speaker. Repeat. Every conversation becomes easier. Repeat. Wonderful. Sarah smiles. Now it's time for today's native tip. One reason native speakers sound friendly is that they don't focus only on talking. They focus on listening. They react naturally. They ask follow-up questions. They show interest in the other person's experiences. That's why conversations feel relaxed and enjoyable. You can build exactly the same habit. Instead of wondering, what should I say next? Ask yourself, what would I like to know about this person? Repeat after me. I listen carefully. Repeat. I ask meaningful questions. Repeat. I enjoy every conversation. Repeat. Excellent. Now it's time for today's listening challenge. Listen carefully. Sarah says, the easiest way to make conversations longer is to become genuinely interested in the person you're talking to and ask simple follow-up questions. What does she mean? A. You should only think about your own answers. B. Showing curiosity and asking natural questions helps conversations continue smoothly and makes people enjoy talking with you. C. Only native speakers know how to keep conversations going. The correct answer is B. Excellent work. As the evening comes to an end, Emma realizes something she had never understood before. Fluent English isn't only about speaking well, it's also about helping other people enjoy speaking with you. Every answer, every smile, every question, every moment of curiosity, all of them work together to create conversations that feel natural. And for the first time, Emma no longer feels like she's practicing English. She feels like she's simply getting to know people. That is the beginning of truly natural communication. Sarah smiles. The room is filled with quiet conversations. Emma notices something different. No one is giving short answers anymore. No one is rushing. Everyone is listening. Everyone is asking questions. The conversations feel real. Sarah claps her hands gently. Wonderful. Now it's time for today's biggest challenge. Everyone looks at her. This challenge is called the 5-minute conversation. Emma smiles. That sounds exciting. Sarah nods. For the next 5 minutes. You may not let the conversation stop. No awkward silence. No one-word answers. No changing the subject because you don't know what to say. Your goal is simple. Keep the conversation alive. Repeat after me. I keep conversations moving. Repeat. I enjoy listening. Repeat. I always have something to say. Repeat. Excellent. Sarah pairs Emma with Daniel. Daniel smiles warmly. Ready? Emma smiles. Ready. Daniel begins. If you could learn any new skill this year, what would it be? Emma thinks for a moment. I'd love to learn photography because I enjoy capturing beautiful moments. Whenever I travel, I always wish I could take better pictures. Daniel smiles. That's interesting. What made you become interested in photography? Emma answers. Last summer, I visited a national park. The scenery was incredible. I took many photos with my phone, but they didn't capture what I actually saw. That's when I realized photography is a real skill. Daniel notes. If you learned photography, where would you go first? Emma smiles. I'd probably visit Iceland. The waterfalls, mountains, and northern lights look amazing. How about you? If you could learn any skill, What would you choose? Daniil smiles. I'd love to learn another language. Emma laughs. Which one? Daniel answers. Spanish. I've always wanted to travel through South America. Emma smiles. That sounds like an unforgettable experience. Sarah watches quietly. After several minutes, she smiles. Did anyone notice something? Nobody memorized these sentences. Nobody prepared this conversation. They simply listened, thought, and responded. Repeat after me. I listen before I answer. Repeat. I respond naturally. Repeat. Every conversation becomes easier. Repeat. Excellent. Sarah walks toward the whiteboard. She writes 3 simple words. Listen. React. Continue. Emma reads them slowly. Listen. React. Continue. Sarah nods. Many English learners only think about speaking, but fluent speakers spend just as much time listening. When someone finishes speaking, don't immediately think about your next sentence. First, react. Emma looks curious. How? Sarah smiles. Very simply. You can say, really? That's interesting. I didn't know that. That sounds exciting. I've never thought about that before. Then, continue the conversation with another question or another idea. Repeat after me. Really? Repeat. That sounds interesting. Repeat. Tell me more. Repeat. Excellent. Sarah smiles. Let's practice. Sophia says, I recently started gardening. Emma reacts. Really? That sounds relaxing. What made you start gardening? Sophia smiles. My grandmother loved flowers. She taught me when I was little. Emma smiles. What's your favorite flower to grow? Sophia answers. Sunflowers. They always make me happy. Sarah nods. Excellent. Emma reacted first. Then she asked. The conversation continued naturally. Repeat after me. I react naturally. Repeat. I ask follow-up questions. Repeat. I enjoy learning about people. Repeat. Excellent. Ryan joins the conversation. Emma, imagine you're meeting someone for the first time. Don't think about perfect English. Think about making them comfortable. Emma nods. Okay. Ryan smiles. Hi. My name is Ryan. Nice to meet you. Emma smiles warmly. Nice to meet you too. Where are you from? Ryan answers. I'm from Seattle. Emma reacts. Oh, I've heard Seattle is a beautiful city. What's your favorite thing about living there? Ryan smiles. I love the coffee shops and the rainy weather. Emma laughs. Really? Most people don't enjoy rainy weather. Ryan laughs too. I know, but I think it's peaceful. Emma smiles. I'd love to visit someday. Sarah smiles proudly. That's exactly how strangers become friends. Repeat after me. I make people feel comfortable. Repeat. I enjoy meeting new people. Repeat. English helps me build friendships. Repeat. Excellent. Sarah smiles. Now let's practice another important habit. Showing interest without interrupting. Many learners become so focused on speaking that they forget to listen carefully. Emma nods. I've done that before. Sarah smiles. We all have. The best conversations happen when both people feel heard. She writes another sentence. Listen to understand. Not to reply. Emma reads it quietly. Listen to understand. Not to reply. Sarah smiles. That's one of the best communication habits you can build. When you truly understand someone, your next question becomes natural. Repeat after me. I listen carefully. Repeat. I understand before I answer. Repeat. People enjoy talking with me. Repeat. Excellent. Daniel smiles. Let's try one final conversation. He asks, what's one dream you've had since you were a child? Emma smiles thoughtfully. I've always dreamed of traveling around the world. I want to experience different cultures and meet people from many countries. I think every place has something valuable to teach us. Daniel smiles. What's one country at the top of your list? Emma answers. Japan. I've always admired the culture, the food, and the beautiful nature. What about you? Daniel smiles. I'd love to visit New Zealand someday. Emma laughs. Then maybe one day we'll both have amazing travel stories to tell. Everyone laughs together. Sarah smiles. Notice something. That conversation felt effortless. Not because their English was perfect, because they were genuinely interested in each other. Repeat after me. Curiosity makes conversations easy. Repeat. Listening builds confidence. Repeat. Every conversation helps me grow. Repeat. Excellent. Sarah smiles. Now it's time for today's native tip. Native speakers don't try to impress people with difficult vocabulary. Instead, they make the other person feel important. They ask questions. They react naturally. They listen carefully. That's why people enjoy talking with them. If you want to sound more natural, don't only practice speaking, practice listening with curiosity. Repeat after me. I listen with curiosity. Repeat. I make people feel valued. Repeat. Every conversation becomes meaningful. Repeat. Wonderful. Now it's time for today's listening challenge. Listen carefully. Sarah says, the strongest conversations happen when both people feel heard, understood, and genuinely interested in each other's experiences. What does she mean? A. Good conversations are only about speaking a lot. B. Listening carefully, reacting naturally, and asking thoughtful follow-up questions make conversations enjoyable for everyone. C. Only native English speakers can have meaningful conversations. The correct answer is B. Excellent work. Emma looks around the room. A few weeks ago, she thought speaking English meant finding the perfect words. Today, she understands something much deeper. A great conversation is not a performance. It is a connection between two people. The more she listens, the more naturally she speaks, the more curious she becomes, the more enjoyable every conversation feels. And little by little, English is no longer just another subject to study. It is becoming the language she uses to build real friendships, share real stories, and create real connections with the world. Welcome back to SpeakWise Podcast. Today you've learned something that many English learners never realize. Speaking naturally is not about knowing thousands of difficult words. It's about sharing ideas, showing curiosity, and helping conversations continue. Emma arrives at the English Conversation Club 1 week later. This time, she feels different. She doesn't rehearse answers in her head. She doesn't worry about saying the perfect sentence. She simply looks forward to talking with people. Sarah notices the smile on Emma's face. You seem much more relaxed today. Emma laughs. I actually am. Sarah smiles. What changed? Emma thinks for a moment. I stopped trying to sound perfect. Now I just try to connect with people. Sarah nods proudly. That's exactly what fluent speakers do. Repeat after me. I connect with people. Repeat. I don't chase perfection. Repeat. I enjoy every conversation. Repeat. Excellent. Sarah gathers everyone together. Today, we're going to finish this lesson with one final activity. No exercises. No worksheets. Just real conversations. Everyone will spend 10 minutes talking to someone they haven't spoken with before. Your only goal is to enjoy the conversation. Emma looks around the room. She notices a new student sitting quietly near the window. His name tag says, Michael. He looks nervous. Emma walks over with a friendly smile. Hi. I'm Emma. Nice to meet you. Michael smiles. Nice to meet you too. I'm Michael. Emma asks, Is this your first time here? Michael nods. Yes. I'm a little nervous. Emma smiles. I remember feeling exactly the same during my first visit. Everyone was so confident that I thought my English wasn't good enough. Michael laughs softly. That's exactly how I feel. Emma smiles. Can I tell you something? Michael nods. Of course. A few weeks ago, I answered every question with only 1 or 2 words. I thought conversations depended on knowing difficult vocabulary. Now I've learned something much more important. Michael looks curious. What's that? Emma smiles. People don't expect perfect English. They just want a real conversation. Michael relaxes immediately. That actually makes me feel much better. Repeat after me. People want real conversations. Repeat. I don't need perfect English. Repeat. I already know enough to communicate. Repeat. Excellent. Michael asks Emma, what helped you improve the most? Emma thinks for a moment. Instead of memorizing long speeches, I learned a few simple habits. I answer. I explain why. I add a detail. Then I ask another question. Michael smiles. That sounds much easier than trying to memorize hundreds of sentences. Emma laughs. It really is. Sarah quietly watches from across the room. She doesn't interrupt. She simply smiles. Emma no longer needs help. She's using everything naturally. Sarah walks toward the group after a few minutes. Emma, would you like to lead the next practice activity? Emma looks surprised. Me? Sarah nods. Yes. I think you're ready. Emma stands at the front of the room. A few weeks ago, the idea of speaking in front of everyone would have terrified her. Today, she feels excited. She smiles at the class. Let's practice together. I'll ask a question. Remember, don't stop after one sentence. Share something about yourself. Then, ask someone else a question. Everyone nods. Emma asks, what's one thing you've learned recently that made you happy? Sophia answers first. I recently learned how to bake homemade bread. It took several attempts, but I finally made one that tasted wonderful. Now my family asks me to bake every weekend. What about you, Daniel? Daniel smiles. I recently learned how to swim. I've always been afraid of deep water, but now I actually enjoy it. Ryan, what's something you've learned recently? Ryan smiles. I started learning to play chess. At first, I lost almost every game, but now, I can finally beat my younger brother once in a while. Everyone laughs. The room feels warm, comfortable, natural. Nobody is worried about making mistakes. Nobody is searching desperately for perfect grammar. Everyone is simply talking. Repeat after me. I enjoy sharing my experiences. Repeat. Mistakes help me grow. Repeat. Every conversation makes me stronger. Repeat. Excellent. Sarah smiles proudly. She looks at Emma. What do you notice about today's conversations? Emma thinks carefully. Everyone is smiling more. Everyone is asking questions. Nobody seems afraid anymore. Sarah nods. Exactly. Confidence changes conversations. Not because your English suddenly becomes perfect, because you stop being afraid to participate. Repeat after me. Confidence comes from practice. Repeat. I improve every day. Repeat. I speak with courage. Repeat. Excellent. Sarah writes one final sentence on the whiteboard. Communication is about connection. She underlines every word slowly. Emma reads it aloud. Communication is about connection. Sarah smiles. Never forget that. Vocabulary matters. Grammar matters. Pronunciation matters. But connection matters most. If people understand your ideas, if they enjoy talking with you, if they leave the conversation smiling, then you've already succeeded. Repeat after me. Connection comes first. Repeat. English helps me build relationships. Repeat. I enjoy talking with people every day. Repeat. Wonderful. Sarah looks around the room one last time. Before we finish, I'd like everyone to think about one question. Not in English. Not in your native language. Just think. Who is one person you'd like to have a conversation with someday? The room becomes quiet. Emma closes her eyes. She thinks about traveling, meeting new friends, talking with people from different cultures, learning their stories, sharing her own. For the first time, that dream doesn't feel impossible. It feels close, very close, because now She has the confidence to begin. Sarah smiles. That's the true purpose of learning a language. Not to pass an exam, not to memorize thousands of words, but to open doors, to understand people, to build friendships, to discover the world, one conversation at a time. Repeat after me. Every conversation opens a new door. Repeat. English gives me new opportunities. Repeat. I am becoming a confident English speaker. Repeat. Excellent. Now it's time for today's final native tip. The best English speakers are not the people who know the most vocabulary. They are the people who make others feel comfortable. They smile. They listen. They ask thoughtful questions. They share small stories. And they genuinely enjoy connecting with others. Practice those habits every day, and your English will become more natural than you ever imagined. Repeat after me. I enjoy making people feel comfortable. Repeat. I speak with kindness and confidence. Repeat. Every conversation helps me grow. Repeat. Wonderful. Now it's time for today's final listening challenge. Listen carefully. Sarah says, fluency is not measured by how many difficult words you know. It is measured by how comfortably you can connect with another person through conversation. What does she mean? A. Only advanced vocabulary makes you fluent. B. Real fluency comes from communicating naturally, showing interest, and building genuine connections with people. C. Grammar is the only important part of speaking English. The correct answer is B. Excellent work. Emma leaves the conversation club as the sun begins to set. A gentle breeze moves through the trees. She walks slowly toward the bus stop with a quiet smile. Only a few weeks ago, she believed every conversation was a test. Today, she knows every conversation is an opportunity to learn, to laugh, to listen, to share, to connect. She no longer worries about finding the perfect sentence. She simply starts speaking. One idea, one reason, one story, one question, one conversation at a time. And that's exactly how confident English speakers are made. Thank you so much for spending this time with SpeakWise Podcast. If today's lesson helped you feel more confident about speaking English, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with a friend who is also learning English. Until next time, keep practicing, keep speaking, and remember, every conversation brings you one step closer to fluency.